1,009 square meters, as the severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. This application is being reviewed concurrently with a zoning bylaw amendment application to remove a single detached dwelling as a permitted use on the retained lands. The subject lands are designated agricultural in the Norfolk County Official Plan. Norfolk County Official Plan Section 4.2.3 states that consent to sever land may be considered for the following purposes: a currently habitable dwelling existing prior to August 24th, 1978, surplus to a farming operation as a result of farm consolidation, subject to the policies of Section 4.2.3 B and C. And just to comment on that, the existing dwelling was constructed prior to 1978. In this case, it was 1900, and is considered surplus to the farming operation. The subject lands are zoned agricultural in the Norfolk County zoning bylaw, and the definition of residence surplus to a farming operation in the Norfolk County zoning bylaw is defined as an existing habitable farm residence that is rendered surplus as a result of farm consolidation, the acquisition of additional farm parcels to be operated as one farm operation. It is the professional opinion of community planning staff that the severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation meets the intent of the Norfolk County Official Plan and Norfolk County zoning bylaw. As such, planning staff support this application and recommend that it be approved.
Thank you very much. Any questions of the planner? Okay. I have a motion by Larry, seconded by Marcel, that the committee hereby approves the application to sever a parcel with a frontage of 60.2 meters and an irregular width of 60 meters, a depth of 67.05 meters, an area of 4,009 square meters, as a severance of a dwelling made surplus for farm amalgamation. The application is being reviewed concurrently with a zoning amendment application to remove a single detached dwelling as a permitted use on the retained lands. The application does conform to the policies of the provincial policy statement, the Norfolk County Official Plan, and the zoning bylaw regarding severance of dwellings made surplus through farm amalgamation, and that no public input was received and therefore not considered as part of the application. The conditions are outlined in the motion as well. Is there any further discussion? Those in favor of the motion? Motion's carried. Thank you. And we're going to take 5 minutes off and come back. Please. we ready? I think I am now. Okay, we're ready to go back at it, and the next application is BN 072 in the name of Douglas Gunn and Bayham Plantations, Inc. Mr. Rowe is here for this one. Anyone else? We'll have the planner explain the report then.
An application has been received to sever a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. The applicant is also proposing a hydro easement. The subject lands are 1.3 acres in size and front onto the north side of Lakeshore Road. The lands contain a single detached dwelling and are part of a larger 101-acre farm, which contains 5 agricultural buildings. Surrounding land uses are agricultural and rural residential in nature. The applicant has applied to sever a dwelling that's been made surplus to a farming operation. A slightly different version of this application was originally approved at the November 16, 2016 Committee of Adjustment meeting. Due to a surveying error, the application that was approved was not what the applicants intended to apply for. They have now reapplied with the correct dimensions of the subject lands. The dwelling was constructed prior to 1978 and no active farmland is being taken out of production. The lands can accommodate the existing sewage and water systems, and the retained lands will be rezoned such that a new residential dwelling is prohibited. The subject application complies with the provincial policy statement and the official plan. The lands are zoned agricultural, and this zone permits a single detached dwelling and related accessory buildings. The application meets the provisions of the agricultural zone. It is the professional opinion of planning staff that the subject application is consistent with the 2014 provincial policy statement and conforms to the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding surplus farm dwelling severances. Planning staff recommend approval of this application subject to the attached conditions.
Thank you very much. Any questions of the planner? Wishes? Okay. I have a motion by Dan, seconded by Dennis, that the committee hereby approves this application to sever a parcel with a frontage of 51.487 meters, a width of 51.487 meters, a depth of 99.98 meters, and an area of 1.3 acres, as the severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. The applicant is also proposing a hydro easement with a width of 10.14 meters, a length of 104.58 meters, and an area of 957 square meters on the retained lands in favor of the owner of the severed parcel for hydro wires. The application does comply to the provincial policy statement, conforms with the Norfolk County official plan policies regarding surplus farm dwellings, and that no public input was received, therefore not considered as part of the application. And of course, the conditions are outlined in the motion as well. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Our next application is AN 089, Michael and Patricia Perovich. Anyone here for this one? Thank you. And we'll have the report explained.
Thank you. So this is a minor variance application for lands located on Pickerel Road in Long Point. The lot is currently vacant, and the applicants are proposing to rebuild an existing cottage and to rebuild a boathouse on the property. The applicants require relief for the building height and the maximum lot coverage for the cottage. They also require relief for the boathouse in terms of the height, the usable floor area, and the side yard setback for the boathouse. I should point out that the Long Point Region Conservation Authority, through their review of the PPS, have noted that they cannot support the application, but planning staff do have an additional layer of policy through our official plan to review this application as well as the zoning bylaw. And the official plan does outline that consideration can be given for our existing resort areas in terms of the redevelopment. So there was an existing cottage, it will be replaced, so there will be no additional cottage in this area as a result of the application. in terms of addressing some of the other concerns, the county is in the process of working on emergency access plan for these resort areas. I should also note that the applicants did do an EIS, and this was accepted by NEAC. Overall, the application is appropriate and is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood along Pickerel Road in Long Point. So as such, planning staff support the minor variance application and recommend approval.
Thank you very much. Move. I have a motion by Marcel, seconded by Larry, that the committee hereby approves the application to grant relief of 1.3 meters from the required building height to 7.5 meters to permit the height of 8.8 meters, 0.51% of the maximum lot coverage of 15% to permit 15.51%, 0.3 meters from the maximum permitted boathouse height of 5 meters to permit a height of 5.3 meters, 39.9 square meters from the maximum usable floor area of a boathouse of 56 meters to permit a boathouse of 95.9 square meters, and 0.29 meters from required side yard setback for a boathouse of 1.2 meters to permit a setback of 0.91 meters. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the development and requested relief is considered appropriate, minor, and maintains the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received, therefore not considered as part of the application. Any further discussion? Those in favor? The motion is carried. Okay, our next application is AN 082, Cody and Megan Wheeler. Anyone here for this one? No? Okay. We'll have the planner explain the report then.
An application has been received to construct an accessory building requiring relief of 57 square meters from the maximum permitted usable floor area of 100 square meters to permit a usable floor area of 157 square meters, and 2.2 meters from the maximum permitted height of 6 meters to permit a height of 8.2 meters. Subject lands are 1.16 acres in size and front onto the north side of Norfolk County Road 19 west in the township of Windham. These lands contain a residential dwelling. The surrounding land uses to the north, east, and west are agricultural. The lands located on the south of the property are provincially significant wetlands. The subject lands are designated agricultural in the official plan. Section 3.7.1 states, the county is committed to the protection of prime agricultural land. The county recognizes, however, that where growth and development occur, it is likely that land with significant agricultural productivity will need to be utilized. Priority shall be given to less productive agricultural land for non-agricultural development where it is feasible and practical to do so. The applicant is proposing to construct an accessory structure on agricultural lands. However, the subject lands are not tilled and are being used for residential uses. Section 4.2.1M states that the uses accessory to any permitted uses in the agriculture designations are permitted. Given the size of the property and the surrounding agricultural uses, the increase in permitted usable floor area of 100 square meters to 157.48 square meters and increase in permitted height are considered minor in nature and appropriate in this instance. The height and permitted usable floor area of the proposed building would complement the existing residential dwelling of the residential lands in terms of both size and physical appearance. It is the professional opinion of community planning staff that the requested relief can be considered minor in nature, appropriate development, and generally meets the intent of the Norfolk County official plan and Norfolk County zoning bylaw. As such, planning staff support this application and recommend that it be approved.
Thank you very much. Any questions of the planner? Rudy? I have a motion by Rudy, seconded by Eric, that the committee hereby approves the application to construct an accessory building requiring relief of 57.48 square meters from the maximum permitted area of 100 square meters to permit a floor space of 157.48 meters and 2.2 meters from the maximum permitted height to permit a height of 8.2 meters. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the development and requested relief is considered appropriate, minor, and maintains the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received, therefore not considered as part of the application. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Carried. Our next application is AN 074, Larry and Heather Gockel. Is that you people? We'll have the planner explain the report.
The subject lands are approximately 697 square meters in size and front onto the west side of Ridgewood Drive in Turkey Point. The lands contain a vacation home and 2 sheds. The applicant is requesting relief of 3.23 meters squared from the minimum required lot area and relief of 2.59% from the maximum permitted lot coverage to construct a covered deck attached to the vacation home on the subject lands. The lands are designated resort residential in the official plan, which permits vacation dwellings. The intention of the official plan is to allow for minor additions to existing cottages, which is what the applicant is proposing. The applicant is requesting relief from the minimum required lot area and maximum permitted lot coverage. The intention of these provisions is to ensure adequate amenity space exists on the subject lands. The lot is an existing undersized lot and very close in size to the minimum requirement. Staff are of the opinion that an adequate amount of amenity space exists on the property. The rear yard is substantial in size and will not be significantly impacted by the proposed porch. Further, a small covered porch enhances the amenity space on the property, allowing for partial outdoor use during inclement weather. The subject application maintains the intent of the zoning bylaw. Staff have conducted a site inspection and are of the opinion that the requested relief is minor and appropriate in this instance. The end result of the combined variances is not anticipated to result in negative impacts to the subject lands or surrounding property owners. It is the professional opinion of community planning staff that the subject application should be approved.
Thank you. Questions of the planner? Okay. I have a motion by Larry, seconded by Dennis, that the committee hereby approves the application to construct a covered deck requiring relief of 3.23 square meters from the minimum lot area of 700 square meters to permit a lot area of 696.77 square meters and 2.59% from the maximum permitted lot coverage of 15% to permit coverage of 17.59%. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the development and requested relief is considered appropriate, minor, maintains the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and no public input was received, therefore not considered as part of the application. Those in favor? Carried. Good, thank you. And our last one, AN 077, Jacob Nelson. Welcome. And we'll have the planner explain the report.
The subject lands are 0.65 acres in size and front onto the north side of 12 Concession Road in North Walsingham. The lands contain a single detached dwelling and a small accessory building. The applicant is requesting relief from the maximum permitted usable floor area of an accessory building in order to construct a detached garage. The relief would account for the proposed new building as well as an existing shed. The subject lands are designated agricultural in the Norfolk County official plan and are an existing developed lot. The proposed new detached garage is permitted by the official plan. The subject lands are zoned agricultural. A single detached dwelling is a permitted use, and the proposed detached garage is permitted accessory to the dwelling up to a size of 100 square meters. The intention of limiting the size of the accessory building is to ensure it remains accessory to the primary use on the property. In this case, the requested relief will account for 2 accessory buildings, and staff are of the opinion that these buildings are of an appropriate size and scale to remain accessory to the dwelling. The buildings are located on opposite corners of the rear yard, which breaks up the massing of the larger floor area. Staff have completed a site inspection and are of the opinion that the requested relief is minor and appropriate in this instance. The variance is not anticipated to result in negative impacts to surrounding property owners or result in an accessory building that is out of character with the general area. Staff support this application and recommend that it be approved.
Thank you. Any questions of the planner? No. Dan moves. I have a motion by Dan, seconded by Rudy, that the committee hereby approves the application for a minor variance to construct a new accessory building requiring relief of 16.7 square meters from the maximum 100 square meter limit to permit a maximum area for all accessory structures totaling 116.7 square meters. And in accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the development and requested relief is considered appropriate, minor, and maintains the intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and no public input was received, therefore not considered as part of the application. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. Thank you. So we got, somehow I missed that one.
Okay.
There's two to go there. Is there any other business to come? No? Nobody?